welcome back to another episode of Building the Kleine Scheidegg Train Station. I'm Hawley McLean with Trainli TV and the Alpine Western Pacific Railroad. And today we're going to start assembling and building the gift shop section of the station. This is probably the most complex piece here. I know we probably got 50 or 60 pieces or more, and lots of angles and so forth. So, but we've done the test fitting and so forth, and it seems to all kind of fit together reasonably well. And we went ahead and did some digital printing on the windows. So we made them look like a sliding glass door, and we put some advertisements on the top of the windows, and those will go in the lower section. And then we have the upper section windows here, and we're using on both these a little bit lighter smoke glass for the top floor and a little bit darker smoke glass for the bottom floor. So first step is we'll go ahead and kind of take this apart and then figure out the best way to assemble this. So here we have the roof section. This will probably be the last part that we'll do. And we have to take all these off. These are just laying on here. Pull these are just barely hanging on in there. Just prior to starting, we went ahead and painted the inside the light blue and the outside the espresso brown. So what we're going to do is assemble these kind of one at a time, I think, and just work our way around, and so that we can seal these. So the next step is we'll go ahead and get set up to where we can actually work on the other table, so that we can assemble these and glue these together. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. So one of the first things we need to do is cut apart all the window trim, and I just use a little nipper there. And then you can see there's kind of a bunch of junk, little cutting debris. I just take a little X-Acto knife and clean it off. And we make sure you have all nice clean edges. That looks pretty good. So now what we want to do is finish up the other 12 of these, and then 12 of the larger ones. So we'll get those cleaned up and move on to the next step. Okay, well, we're here in the shop with Mario, and we're going to go ahead and assemble the window sections for the gift shop. And we went ahead and Mario did a good job of scraping these all up and getting them cleaned and wiped. We wiped it down with a little bit of denatured alcohol, and then painted them kind of our dark blue, which will be that's our kind of theme color for the Tahoe Junction. And now let's see, I guess, so the process we want to do here, Mario, is take a window, and I can take a little bit of the glass cleaner there and just give a little zap and clean these. And we take a little bit of the this E6800. And just put a little bead. Oh, this stuff gets stringy. Right on the window here, on the edge. And if for some reason, all right, then we'll take one of the longer windows. And we have the little logos on these, and that logo goes to the top, and this little tab here is the bottom. So to come from the back, and slide these in till they're flush with the front. So Mario, did you build anything, make any models as a kid?
The most I did as a kid was use Legos and built quite a few buildings with those, but nothing like this. You know, it's not easy. This is my first time doing this whole structure, and it's been a learning curve for me.
Well, you've been doing a great job.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying hard, so.
So, what we've been doing for the last day, Mario and I was finishing up these window panels here for the front of the gift house, and that took a little bit longer than we anticipated, and we tried a couple of different ways to make these look nice and clean. And so any of you out there have some ideas or suggestions, still haven't found a good way to put these windows in, make them weather tight, and get them a nice, clean, neat finish. But what we ended up doing is we glued the windows in, as you were watching earlier, with a little bit of the E6800, let those set up, and then we came back and put some clear silicone around. And you could see that from the window side, and it just wasn't that clean. So we cleaned it, scraped it all out, cleaned it, and we went ahead and put in these 1/8" square pieces of wood around the inside of each of the windows. So you don't really notice it on the lower, bigger windows, but on the upper windows, it gave it a cleaner finish, and also makes it look like there's part of a window inside the window trim. So I think that worked out well. And that's what we had to do, is we glued the windows in, then put this wood trim in here to help hold the window in place and hopefully seal it a little bit better. And then we came back and glued the exterior window trims, the pieces out of the PVC, painted them the Tahoe blue, and glued them to the 6800. And we also went through and trimmed these tabs a little bit to make sure we get a nice fit into the slots. And we also needed to trim this piece. In the real building, this is like a concrete ledge, and so we had to notch this out so that it fits nicely around the bottom of the windows. Now that that's all done, we'll start at this side and kind of work our way around attaching these, and then we got to seal them from the inside as well. So let me take this top off. So I'm going to start at this end and just kind of work my way around over to here. While I'm doing that, Mario's going to be cutting a whole bunch of, a couple of hundred pieces of the 1/2" by 1/8", so that we can do put the decking on around the building as well. So we'll both be working on that. And Right now what I'm going to do is put some silicone around the base and on these vertical joints here, and because it's a little bit easier to access this now. All right, we have this all glued together now, this section. We'll let that set up, and then we'll come back and start putting the arches in, and then we got to put our wood facade over this after we get our arches in for the... Okay, while we're waiting for this to set up, we're going to start working on the roof assembly for the gift shop. And that's where we take this piece here, and it ends up going right on top. And there are these tabs here that go in. There's 5 of them, and they hold it in place. So the important thing is to make sure that you test fit it first, and I did that. And so now I need a little bit of sanding, so I sanded a couple of these on either side, and look like they will fit nicely. So I'll put some cleaner around here, and put cleaner on this one in the right spot. Okay, this now should just sit right down in here. And it does. It should fit flush with this beam right here. We got a nice tight even fit. So we'll go ahead and lift this out and let it dry and cure so that it doesn't attach to that permanently yet. And I think, so that's the first step. All right, now we have these glued in, these tabs, and there's one more large tab that goes right here. So we'll cement that in place. Now, these pieces are really important that they sit in there nice and tight and all the way flush with this plate, because all the little pie-shaped roof pieces go on top of that, and you want to, there's not a lot of room for being a little bit off. Just beforehand, I went ahead and sanded all these little tabs because it was a little bit tight. All right, those are all nice and flush at the bottom there, and they're all straight up and down. And this will end up living right here. But I know that we have to do just a little bit of sanding tomorrow. That almost fits perfectly. So we'll let this set up tonight, and we will see you tomorrow.